You know, today is the first day of early voting in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and who better to discuss it than the man who is running for Senate in that great state? Hung Cao is a retired Navy combat veteran and the Republican nominee for the U.S. Senate, running against the awful Tim Kaine. Hung Cao joins us on the phone. Hung, great to have you with us, sir.
It's always great to be on your show.
Thank you very much. I've been talking about this, but I was out this morning at the Fairfax County Government Center, and I can't help but notice that there was a lot of energy for the Republicans, and not so much for the Democrats. What is your sense of this election as we begin the first day of early voting?
Well, we've looked at even the absentee ballots. Their numbers are down drastically from not just 2022, but also from 2020. So it's a significant change in requests for absentee ballots from the Democrat side. But we've ran a couple of polls, and then one just came out from Mary Washington University and has me at 6 points, which is actually better than Governor Youngkin was 3 years ago today. And look at him; he's now one of the most popular governors in the country. And so this is exciting for us, and we are closing on Tim Kaine. In a month, we've closed by 50% of the gap.
Wow, this is a very real race. How much of a difference maker is it for you as a candidate when people vote early? Does that matter to you?
Well, I mean, everything happens. Anything can happen on election day. You get a flat tire, your kids get sick. So I encourage everybody to go out there and vote. Vote early, and then on election day, grab your neighbors, grab your friends, grab your families who forgot it's election day, and go out there and vote. Because look, Arlington National Cemetery is lined up with 400,000 tombstones of men and women who gave their lives for our right to vote, and we need to fulfill our civic duty to do so.
For sure. But the effect of this is also to save your campaign a lot of money, isn't it? If somebody goes and they vote now, that means that's one fewer person that you have to spend time trying to target and send all sorts of mail to and try and get them out to vote, right?
No, you're absolutely right. Every mailer that you get in your box is about $1 each. And yes, you're right. Every dollar is going to count, especially when we have 6 million different voters. I mean, there's 9 million people in Virginia, but about 6 million voters. We have to reach out to every single person. And yes, it does save us a lot of money if you already voted, because then we can concentrate on the people who have not gotten out to vote.
Yeah. So where are you concentrating your efforts in the state? If you could give me a map of like what your strategy is throughout the state, what are your thoughts right now?
I've been all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. I mean, we've been to Southwest Virginia, we've been to Richmond, we've been to Hampton Roads, Northern Virginia, and Northern Virginia knows me. I mean, I ran for Congress in 2022, and I closed that gap where Joe Biden won by 19%. I took it down to 6%. And, if Northern Virginia turns out and flips it the way they did last time, if we close the gap that way and the South comes out for us, we've already won this race. And we're seeing this in our modeling. We see this in the polls. We know there's a path to victory, and we're just excited.
Yeah, in Northern Virginia, you and I have discussed before, it is really important. So much of Virginia you look at and is pretty reliably Republican, but in a statewide race, this is really important that people show up. You need the bodies. It can't just be that more Republicans vote in the district. You need a lot of people just showing up and voting. Northern Virginia plays a huge role in this, Hung Cao, because if you get a sizable Republican turnout in Northern Virginia, that often determines whether or not the Democrat gets defeated, quite honestly.
No, you're absolutely right. Virginia is one of those weird states there. The more people that turn out, the more red it becomes. And so if you live in Arlington or Alexandria, you're like, oh my gosh, I'll never beat this. It's all blue over there. But no, every single count votes when you're running about a statewide. So remember, 2021, we won all 3 statewide elections. In 22, even though I lost, Jen Kiggins picked up 1 seat in the House. Yeah. In 23, even though they, gerrymandered and all this stuff, more Republicans showed up than Democrats did. So, and this is a heavy, election year. And the more people that come out, the more we're going to be able to really swamp the vote and get people out there and win this race.
Tell me about Tim Kaine. How's he campaigning right now? And would he dare debate you?
Oh, yes. We are debating on October 2nd down at Norfolk State University, and it's going to be televised. That was one of those stipulations I had to have is like, look, I want to do some back room where you guys get to clip and say what you want because, uh, we know what happens when they do that. And so I want to be televised. And, we're going to be facing him off in October 2nd. So it's going to be televised throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. And it's going to be, they're going to show it on all the, I believe, the local networks shows.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully on WMAL too.
And what do you expect Tim Kaine to say about his great success as a United States Senator? Is he going to be pointing to just all the economic thriving we have going on all around us?
That's exactly it. I mean, he's gonna, just remember the same person who got us into this mess is now saying, "Hey, give me 6 more years. I'm going to get us out." And I think Virginians are sick and tired of it. And look, I mean, he hasn't really produced anything for Virginia. You look at his voting record. You look at the Inflation Reduction Act. What has that done for us? I mean, except for 87,000 new IRS hires. We're not doing anything to keep our streets safer. We're not doing anything to boost the economy and to protect our country.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, the truth is I don't watch a lot of television, but I do feel so. Maybe I'm missing it, but I feel like I haven't seen a lot from Tim Kaine. Like he's trying to keep his head down in this race.
Well, I'll tell you some a story that people in Stanton and Abingdon are like, hey, we haven't seen this guy for 10 years. All of a sudden we see him now, 3 times in the same month. So that tells you that he's getting worried. He knows that he's got a real race on his hands. And except he wrote a memo, I guess, to all the different newspapers, and they're writing the same thing. Hung Cao has no chance. Well, the polls don't lie, and the polls are showing that we're closing in the gap. And he's dropped a lot of money for ads, and so it shows us that he is worried, and he knows that he's got a strong race against him.
Yeah,
and we can get across the board. We just need for Virginians to get out and vote.
You do have to feel some encouragement from this poll that you're referencing from the University of Mary Washington, showing 49% of likely voters say they favor Tim Kaine, 43% say they favor you, but that does leave some others who really haven't registered an opinion here. In fact, they say the rest are right now undecided, which means you have a real chance here to convince some undecideds to join your race.
No, you're absolutely right. So we ran our own polls, and when we introduced we had kind of the same results, but after we introduced me to the audience, the polls flipped, where I was 47 and he was 42 after we introduced me to the voter. So all it means is I need to get commercials out there. I need to introduce myself to the people of Virginia through commercials and everything else. I mean, Of course, I'm going around the Commonwealth right now with the governor. I'm heading down to Virginia Beach today with him, and tomorrow we'll be in the 7th district. Last week, I think we were in the 5th district. I mean, we've been all over with governor, and he's been a great partner in this election.
And do you have any sense of President Trump's return to Virginia, if at all? I know he's already campaigned here, which has been fantastic. I saw you up on that stage with him. But some question of whether or not he will return to the state ahead of the election. He told me a couple months back that he very much thinks Virginia is in play and he wants to win Virginia. Do you expect to see President Trump back in the state at all?
Oh, absolutely. He's told me that several times. He says, "Hung, we're going to win Virginia together." I'm like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "No, we're going to win it. We're going to take it back." I'm like, "All right, Mr. President." So he's definitely determined to win Virginia and come back here. Where he's going to go, I mean, that's up to you and me. But remember, he's already been to Richmond. He's already been to Hampton Roads. He was up here in Northern Virginia with me on August 26th during the 3-year anniversary of the fallen, the 13 fallen.
Yes.
And then we went to Eden Center, and then most likely he'll be back down probably Roanoke area, and then hopefully up in Northern Virginia one more time.
So when you talk to him and your read from the campaign is you get a very sincere belief from them that they take Virginia seriously.
Oh, absolutely. He's determined to win this. And, don't forget one of his campaign managers is a native Virginian also, and one of my voters.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, this is going to shape up to be a good race. How are you going to spend all of these early voting days now that we actually have people casting ballots at early voting locations across the state? Do you expect to be at these polling places most days?
No, we're going to get to the voters to get them to come out to vote. We're going to meet them where they go, whether it's the fairs, the stores. We're going to knock on doors. We're going to do everything we can to get the voters out here. Vince, I mean, look, I'm a brand new grandfather, believe it or not.
I love that.
And, I haven't seen my kids or my granddaughters that much because I'm out there meeting the voters and getting them to come out and getting them excited about this race, because this is a very winnable race, and we just need for people to turn out. I'm telling you right now, Vince, I mean, I can't tell you how ecstatic I am about these numbers that come about, both from Mary Washington and our own polls as well, that really solidifies the fact that there is a clear path to victory for us.
Yeah, very, very encouraging news. I love that. If people want more information, they can find out more at Hung's website, very simply, hung4va.com. Hung Cao, best of luck to you, and we'll chat with you again as we get closer and closer to the end of election season. Thank you, Hung.
All right, thank you so much, Vince. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, sir.